What we have here is a massive learning opportunity. Now, technology addiction can lead someone to a susceptible state to where things that they think are news are in fact deliberately placed there and promoted by social media. So it seems that it has a lot of, organic support when it actually is sponsored content. There's things that people really should be learning right now because since humans have been divided and separated, a society to where we no longer really talk to our neighbor, to one another, because so many people have been affected by the propaganda, by the divide and conquer game, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, whether they're one perceivable ethnicity or another, whether they're urban or whether they're rural. Few people, few people on this planet, as far as I'm concerned, and in this country and in our communities, haven't been affected by the divide and conquer plan. Few people are really connected with their spirit and their inner knowing and a strong intuition to where they can see reality as it is. Therefore, the masses, most men and women, most women and men, are heading towards a particular direction. Okay, they're on the mass consciousness freeway of life, and they're going in a particular direction. They don't need to control everyone. They don't need to control all of you. They don't need to control me. From their perspective, they're about controlling just enough. And what they've learned is how many they can control by controlling social media and what's on the feed. And this has been going on for a long, long time. And yet it's like we're in a video game or a scene from Idiocracy, where it seems that so few of the population understands and realizes. And I've said for years, many people have been living out fears in their mind that they have never experienced themselves, but have actually been amplified by social media. And that's not even to say that there are no crimes or no atrocities, but that social media technology can amplify certain things. Certain things can trend, certain things could be blown out of proportion. We could think that certain things are the ultimate threats, whatever those may be, right? If it's in the agenda of the ruling elite, to make certain things a threat for their agenda, problem, reaction, solution. They can manufacture enough media coverage, certain perspectives that get out to enough ears and enough eyes, enough minds, really. Because it's really about being susceptible. It's been a while since I've referenced being susceptible as a superhero archetype. It's something that came to me when I was sitting once in detention at the age of 12, and I was looking for an idea for a superpower or a superhero. So I picked up a big book, lightly dropped it on the desk, gave a light thud, opened it up, closed my eyes, put my fingers somewhere on the page, anywhere, placed it there, looked up. I kid you not, it was the insusceptible, not easily influenced. And I think that's basically a superpower or something akin to something like that, to be not easily influenced by whatever, in a world where so many seem to be susceptible or influenced. So technology can be used as a positive thing, and I'm seeking to use it as a positive thing to get out my message. But if people use technology alone to learn about the world, the dark side of that is what we're seeing right now. And imagine, if you will, of course there's going to be the dark side and the light side to every experience, but imagine, if you will, a grid down situation where people don't have their Facebook and they don't have a constant bombardment, as again is a combination of internet addiction to even certain websites like Facebook that are actually being used as mass mind control tools. If you look at the situation as it is, look at it as it is. They've been doing this for some time. They even admitted in 2012 they're manipulating our feeds, what we see, to manipulate our emotions. Well, it's been 5 years since that revelation. Don't you think they've fine-tuned this down to an even more insane science, more specific science, science of psychological warfare using social media. So they've learned a lot. But have we learned? Have people learned? Have people begun to heal within this nation that may have been hysterical about certain threats several years ago or in the last year? Are they starting to see that some of these politicians that promise them certain change we can believe in or to make America great again, are they starting to see that many of these are frauds, whether they be Democrats that voted for Obama and they're seeing the true Obama, or whether they be Republicans that voted for Donald Trump that are seeing the real Donald Trump? There's no need for you and I to hate either Barack Obama or Donald Trump, nor is there a need for us to love them. Oh, let's all love our enemies. Oh, let's all love these world leaders. No, we don't need to love them. We don't need to hate them. We don't need to throw a bunch of emotion at this. We could see these puppets as they are and leave emotion out of this. Okay? Because we are being misled anyways into giving our love and our anger to these puppets when they ain't even the ones controlling the show. You know that. Obama wasn't pulling the strings. Donald Trump isn't pulling his own strings. But are their strings being pulled? I think it's ridiculous to suggest that their strings are not being pulled, or that the strings of Bush were not being pulled. But there's still some people out there, right, that don't believe that we live in a controlled society to a certain degree, let alone a matrix of sorts. And that's fine, right? That's their right. But as far as I understand it, they are learning, the controllers that is, how much they can get away with. And right now they're figuring out also in their post-results poll, after all this comes out in the open, most people still support the current president-elect, even with the revelations that are coming out. They still support. And, I've talked about this before. It's also because there's so little else for them to see faith in, and there isn't. It's like, what are their alternatives? But it's a sad state of affairs when people retort, well, what do you want, Hillary Clinton? When, in reality, there isn't a choice. Not when you learn that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump actually have a history together. Then, and there's actually pictures. That's right, there's pictures. Why ignore? Right? Why run PR for Donald Trump? And why be pro-Putin, anti-Clinton, when you know there are ties between Putin and Clinton too? This is all just getting crazy. This is all just getting crazy. Why can't we be friends, as the song goes? Because of this divide. People shouldn't have to pick a side. People should be rewarded and appreciated for being independent in whatever way they're independent. There's a reason I named my video series Outside the Box years ago. And sometimes I tell that to people when they're trying to figure out what box I'm in. And they won't know how to respond when I tell them I name my video series Outside the Box. Like, what does he mean by that? It means that I represent a larger idea, a larger concept that I'm fully aware of at the moment. But I'll get back to you on that. But this is really about going down the rabbit hole into the nature of what we are as souls inside these bodies, because we're deeper than that. And there's a game being played, and it's called the illusions of separation. And that's something that we need to understand. What we're seeing in the physical and what we're learning about with this deception is a physical mere response to the spiritual warfare that is taking place. What is taking place in the physical, when you hear about these online trolls that are spreading division within the United States, and it is taking place, and some people aren't even aware enough to realize they're being played, this is a sign of spiritual warfare. And it's more confirmation that this battle is taking place. So we need to wake up to it. We need to realize that there are elements of our society and progress that should be cherished and appreciated, like realities where people meet at a coffee shop and they enjoy a game of chess and a few laughs. And I remember a time in Portland where there was more of that I might come across, and even in the pre-9/11 era, but even after 9/11. And a lot of things have been changing after 2009, 10, 11, and for some odd reason, I'm not the only one to notice this, 2012. So what has been happening with consciousness in the post-2012 era? Is there actually maybe a little bit of a truth to a warning about the 2012 era? Not the year, right, but this larger cycle that we're in, because humanity's going somewhere. And this interfacing with technology and talks about the singularity and talks about social media being controlled to influence human personalities. And human personalities also developing love and affection for sex bots and even discussing things like that being a very sensitive topic on YouTube for some reason. One has led some channels to be punished for talking about or being critical of the human sex bot relationship. This is getting really, 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 really weird. And I'm not sure at times how to take it. But I do know, right, that we're better than this and that we need to maintain our humanity throughout this technological replacement for human friendships and relationships. And we're really starting to see a fallout, if you will, of that type of a reality. I'll leave you again with a question. What kind of a reality could we go into if a king of all solar flares knocked out the grid? Would it really be the end of the world if we had to recenter on healthy relationships? How about men and women, right? What about if the amount of money that a man has is no longer the ultimate way to judge his value? What about a reality in which Facebook is not a moment-to-moment obsession for the average individual, reading fake headline after fake headline, race-baiting news after race-baiting news, emotional reactionism? What if all that was around them and was in their focus for a prolonged period in time was nature? So when people talk about being afraid of things that the sun could trigger in their world, there's a reason why this is an event that I'm not afraid of. In fact, I'm observing what is happening to society, right? Slowly, incrementally, as we see the thinning of our veils, if you will, changes in our Earth's magnetic field, an increase in cosmic rays interacting with our planet, much more sensitive to the effect of solar flares through a thinning magnetic field, and all the other unknown consequences, cause and effect, that come about through such a thinning of the veil. So this is definitely a very interesting time.